I'm Christopher Redfearn, and tonight we begin with President Trump signing a series of executive orders today meant to provide some financial relief to Americans suffering the economic impacts of the pandemic. It's also the first major holiday since the coronavirus pandemic started, with resorts and casinos back open. Today marks not only the United States' 244th birthday, but one full month since gaming was given the green light here in Nevada. The coronavirus continues to spread here in the United States, including here in Southern Nevada, the state reporting 1,100 new cases today. The Clark County School District rolled out its plan for reopening schools in the fall following the pandemic shutdown, but a lot of parents and teachers were left asking questions about certain parts of the plan, including distance learning 3 days a week. Despite China implementing the largest quarantine in human history, coronavirus is spreading. So take a look here. This is how many cases we had just yesterday, 2,835. That was Monday. Over the last 24 hours, that number has more than doubled to nearly 6,000. Yeah, you can see the fireworks going. Yeah. I mean, it's the double-edged sword. It is pretty to look at, but then I also am cringing because I know this is the busiest day of the year for firefighters. It's dry. There's dogs hiding in the closet everywhere. I mean, we've had several people calling in. Now, let's just mention it. I didn't realize that was smoke we were seeing today, but we brought you this story last night, a massive wildfire in Southern California that firefighters were trying to contain. Now, here's a look at it today. Wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands. We've heard this message over and over for the past several months, but it's enforced differently depending on where you live. And leaders say that mixed message is not helping in the fight against the virus. Now, if you remember, earlier this week, we introduced you to Gene. He's a 94-year-old World War II vet whose body just hasn't quite kept up with a still razor-sharp mind. So Gene's been using an electric wheelchair to help him get around, and it was recently stolen. Well, the fall semester for Clark County Public Schools, that kicks off August 24th. Some families are getting ready for their first big day tomorrow. Today, I talked with a family with 3 kids, all 8 and younger. They go to a charter school, about how they're tackling distance learning and how it's been so far. Most Clark County bars are now closed once again per a directive from Governor Sisolak issued Thursday. Taking a look from that downtown Summerlin cam, and there's not nearly as many explosions in the sky tonight, Les. And I'm sure, going off that story we just had with Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, that's good news for them. There's 5 vehicles involved. I'm going to try to show you all of them. This is vehicle number 1, this white Mercedes over here. We pan a little bit to the left. Vehicle number 2, you can see the front of this one completely destroyed. Pan a little bit further left. This is probably the most dramatic one. This Planet 13 taxi, all 4 wheels are missing. Every airbag in the vehicle's gone off. And apparently the driver was actually in the back seat. We talked to a guy earlier who tried to go help everyone, found the driver sitting in the back seat. Just past that, there's a gray Honda. That one may be a little bit more difficult to see. That's car number 4. And then the one that started the crash, according to several witnesses we talked to, is this white Camaro down here along the sidewalk. Now, from that white Camaro, if we spin all the way around to this white Mercedes, I walked it off as best I could. That's about 75 yards. We talked to a gentleman earlier who saw the whole thing happen and sprung into action. Metro Police out here on the scene, they did say that impairment could be a factor. Now, I know 4th of July, big holiday, the night may just be getting going for people, but this, please let it serve as an extra reminder. Do not get behind the wheel if you've been drinking and driving. You have Uber, Lyft, every resource possible to get somewhere safe. Do not let something like this happen before the end of the night. Live in Las Vegas, Chris Redfearn, Fox 5 News.
Ready? Every pigeon we saw, we were like, howdy partner, howdy partner, howdy partner, like making a joke out of it. I have the short-handled net. And I drive in and I see like 3 pigeons. I'm like, howdy partner. And I was like, oh my God, that's him. Howdy partner.
Remember Mariah Cheyenne and Edgar the diaper-wearing pigeon on a leash from Lofty Hopes? Edgar stayed at home tonight, but ever since that original clip surfaced of who's now known as Cluck Norris, this mother-daughter duo's been trying to track him down to help the poor guy.
And there she goes after him. I was shocked. We drove in. I said, okay, everybody keep your eyes out. Look for Cluck Norris, right? For pigeons and hats. And then I kind of laughed. I said, cannot believe we're out here looking for pigeons and hats. You want to see the net, right?
And Fox 5 was right there alongside them.
We chased him around with a net, basically, all over here for 2 hours. He ended up over here, and this was the first flat roof that we saw. And this guy came out and offered a ladder. And so we put a trap up there with food and water. Hopefully we have caught him. Is there anything in it?
There's nothing out here.
Darn it.
So close. But Lofty Hopes isn't giving up.
Do you want to leave it up for the night? We had one with a dart through his head. It took us 2 weeks to catch him.
Cluck Norris might not have a dart through his head, but Mariah and Cheyenne tell me that red hat puts a target on his back for predators.
He was doing a lot of grooming. He wants it off. And there was a lot of feathers around the hat, so you could tell that it was glued.
Today they put out another trap and sent out this birdie bolo.
They like to come out and feed in the morning, and they like to come out and feed in the evening. So every morning and evening we'll be checking that trap.
The victim's been chatting with a girl online for a few weeks now, and they decide to finally meet up here on a Friday night.
She gets in his car and says she can get him weed for the night.
They end up here, towards the back of Woodlawn Cemetery. The victim sees two guys standing in a dark corner and assumes that's who he's buying weed from.
But the two split up. One goes to his side of the car, the other to the girl's side, where he pulls out a pistol and points it at the victim's head to rob him. Reluctant to give up his things, the report says the victim was pistol whipped and forced into the trunk of his own car. Teenagers wanted into his phone, but it was dead, so they stopped at a Walmart with the victim.
Curled up in his own trunk at gunpoint, the girl goes inside to buy a phone charger.
Then it's off to the desert.
It's dark. The victim's disoriented and he's forced out of his own trunk in what seems like the middle of nowhere. Then they throw a blanket over his head.
In the report, the victim says they told him he'd have 5 minutes to run as far as he could before they started shooting. 30 seconds later, gunshots. The victim says he ran and hid in the rugged rocks until he thought it was safe.
Exhausted, terrified, the victim stumbles to the road and heads west on Lake Mead Boulevard.
Until he found a couple in their car who offered to help.
The nightmare finally ended here. The victim was dropped off at this gas station where he was finally able to call the cops.
The three teens have since been arrested. The ringleader, Baldomero Gutierrez, facing multiple charges including battery, assault, and kidnapping.
They're getting phone calls once a week.
I feel fine.
So people have had the injection.
It was right about here.
They've had the diary to complete for 7 days.
Temperature, and then they wanted to know if I was showing any evidence of any infection.
They'll be coming back 28 days after their first visit.
Confirm my report for later this month, at the end of the month.
We've had a few patients report headache, tiredness, all mild.
But no such symptoms for Ed Alvarado, currently undergoing the Moderna vaccine trials. We talked to him about it back in late July, about a week after he first got that injection.
I was blown away by the number of people who thanked me for getting involved in this, people who thought what I was doing was heroic and brave, and I was very humbled by that, but I just feel like a guy who's doing what he should do.
There's now about 8,000 people total involved in the Moderna vaccine trials. That is 8,000 more than a month ago, but Ed's still part of a very select group of people, something he says he didn't truly appreciate until he saw his own story on TV.
As soon as you said, today I sat down and talked to one of the few people on the planet who's received this vaccine, and I hadn't thought about that at all. And when I did, I thought, "Whoa!" It just really took me back.
Meanwhile, at the Wake Clinical Research Center, the team heads home for some much-needed rest over the weekend. Moderna testing will continue, and now the clinic's also slated to test 2 more potential COVID vaccines starting next week.
The vaccine on Friday wants 1,500 patients.
And they still don't know how many people will be involved in the other new vaccine.
It's exciting and it's exhausting.
A trooper's head is on a swivel when he's outside of the car. It's in a split second. Between February and March, in a 4-week period, we had 5 vehicles get struck.
And by some miracle, no serious injuries. But outside of NHP, 2019's been a brutal year so far.
13 officers nationwide have been killed by gunfire, and 12 have been killed by vehicle crashes.
That's a sobering statistic, but a reality for troopers who spend hours each day on the shoulder.
A car came through, went through the cones, and the trooper, all she could say to the trooper in field training was run.
Everywhere in the U.S., there's a law that says drivers have to move over or slow down for emergency vehicles on the side of the road. But the problem is, people don't.
They have no idea how quick things happen on the freeway.
Wow.
They don't realize how fast vehicles are coming at you at 65 miles an hour.
My intention was to count how many vehicles didn't move over during one of our traffic stops, but I seriously couldn't keep track. Even the person we pulled over felt anxious.
Right now, when the cars are passing, you can feel the gust of wind past them, that they're so close. It's always an uneasy feeling.
This move over law, is for law enforcement, but it's also for DOT workers, our tow truck workers, and it's for the average everyday citizen. If you're on the side of the road, people are supposed to be moving over for you.
6239-50. I'm trying to see what the hype is about. Look at the line. Have y'all been to Chick-fil-A? What they line look like?
It's closed on Sunday.
What? They don't want no money.
Yes, all this over a battered chicken breast, a couple pickles, and some bread. Popeyes launched it about 2 weeks ago, and for some reason, it snowballed into social media debates.
It's insane. This Popeyes craze has America going crazy.
There's online polls.
It's viral.
The fast food companies are roasting each other on Twitter.
This is really good marketing because the lines are crazy.
And the lines, they really are crazy.
Back all the way over there.
I thought the line would be a little shorter, but I guess not. But I'm willing to wait, though.
And so was everyone else, until the regional manager dropped a bombshell.
Henderson is telling us that we're going to be fined a lot of money if we don't close down. We need to have security out here. The neighbors, Wendy's, Wenco, are complaining of the disturbance of the cars lining up all the way through their properties. So we're going to have to shut down.
Boy, they got the cameras out here and everything, bro.
I'm here for your chicken sandwich?
Yeah, bro.
Mind if I talk with you real quick?
Yeah, I want a chicken sandwich. I'm just trying to go. I've been everywhere, man. The chicken sandwich is just taking over, man. They say they shut this place down over some chicken sandwiches, man. What's going on?
So, no more chicken sandwiches, no more Popeyes for the rest of the day at this Henderson location. Surely that should hurt business.
To be honest, we made enough money over this last week.
That answers that. And what about all those poor people who waited in line for an hour, only to be turned away?
I think I want to go to another Popeyes and see if they're open.
Them chicken sandwiches, the bomb, though, man. I need to get one, though, man.